these links are important. They provide the various important information how the practicals are to be conducted. Actually, it is expected that before going for actual practical, you are aware about the theoretical parts, and these all are the theoretical aspects. As I told you, there are many difficulties having animal experiments, and it requires so many permissions. Therefore, at many places, the animal experiments are banned. Many organizations, they do not allow, and there are various electronic ways of experimentation. But for that, theoretical knowledge is very important. Now, for that, my efforts were that you should go through these YouTube links. You try to watch it, and if you have any difficulty, you could not understand any concept, any portion, what you can do is you give the, or we can give that discussion, means somebody of you will start it, and the authority for presenting should be given to that person, or should invite it accordingly, and we can say that what this link is. So I was expecting that since there are no many classes are on, practicals are definitely are not there. So I expected that you will go through it, but there are no, I don't think that you are doing anything in this. So far we have seen a few experiments. I told you what are these, what are various aspects of it. I told you about bias. I don't know whether somebody has read it or not. I told you it's very important, because when certain chemicals are there, the bioassay becomes very, very important. We have got two types of assays, bioassays and physicochemical assays. Physicochemical assays, you have seen it in your analysis. It is titrimetry, gravimetry, turbidometry, and what not, or UV spectrophotometer, colorimetry, etc., HPLC. These are all physical methods of analysis. Now, what happens is, many times this physical method of analysis are not very important, or they cannot give you correct idea. And there are instances, example, when they are from plant origin, and it is actually the mixture of many things. Example, when we say that insulin, in previous days it was obtained as a extract from pancreas. So from that, it was not clear that exactly how much insulin is there. No big separation techniques were there, and it was not very clear that whether how much insulin will be effective. And at that time, then it was studied, and on that basis of that, how much blood glucose level it can reduce. On that basis of that, the activities was decided, and that equivalent activity will be remaining in all doses will be seen. So this was the old practice, and thus in such cases, when the drugs are from natural origin, when the drugs are to be compared with the existing drug for efficacy, you need bioassays. So bioassays are very important when you have to confirm, even though there are many mixtures, enantiomers are there. So sometimes one type of isomer is active, another is not there, but it is racemic mixture which cannot be identified in physical experiments or physical analysis. So in all cases, you need cases where bioassays are there, and we have seen how the bioassays are performed. I told you the first step in that is drug response curve. So I explained last time drug response curve, that we have to take give drug, we have to make the optimal conditions, and we have to start with the optimal dose, so that you can gradually increase the dose and you get the curve as it has been seen. I told you about Rang and Dale general pharmacological topic, that is receptor and receptor actions. If you remember, you have studied the various receptor theories, or that is rate theory and kinetic theory, etc. So these all theories are applied for making various equations. So again, that was the question. Now this year what I have decided is, I will give you all these assignment. I will not check it whether you are trying it or not, but certainly I will be asking this in examination. because either you read it and ask the difficulty, and I will be happy if you don't have any difficulty. That means you have read it and you don't have difficulties, and then all these questions will be asked. I have given you enough time, enough opportunities, so that you read it and you come back to me. But if it is not there, then I am very sure, I am very happy to know that yes, you read it and you understand everything and you don't have any difficulties. So we shall have all the difficulty classes regarding practical aspects for all the things which has been given. I told you about that. I have made a table like structure, and I expected a very clear thing, that I have provided you some of the YouTube links, I have provided some of the text links, PDF links, so that you can understand, and let me see how much you can search, how much you can find it out, because maybe in 5th year when you will go for your own project, you should have these habits, learning habits, to search the things, to read the things, to apply the things for your projects. So this is sort of training I wanted to give you. But anyway, if you cannot do it, or if you are not interested, I don't mind. Most probably, when the sessionals will be arranged this time, I will be having practical examination also for your class. So that will be on the theoretical basis only, and I'll check, and maybe I'll add the attendance mark from these attendances, because I am recording, even if whether somebody is recording it or not, but definitely my computer is recording it automatically. So I'll do it, and accordingly I'll give the marks. This is very clear from my side. I'll suggest you, you may write it to your groups, or you can inform to your friends, and most probably thereafter I'll see that after 10 minutes of the link maximum, I'll not add anybody into this one, because I have seen few people have made this habit. Second thing is, I told you earlier also that my computer maintains the record, how many logins are there, at what time the person logged in, at what time person logged out, and for how much time. See, this Adesh Chavan is trying to come at after 20 minutes. So Adesh, where were you? 20 मिनट के बाद ज्वाइन हो रहा है. Unmute yourself. आदेश.
हॅलो सर.
हां, 20 मिनिट काय लागले रे बाळा तुला जॉईन व्हायला?
सर मी नाही का 40 मिनिट करत आहे सर, पण ते मी नाही का रुरल एरियाला बिलॉंग्स करतो ना, तर ते नेटवर्क मध्ये जॉईन होतात नव्हता.
अरे
4 वाजेपासून ट्राय करतो सर.
लोकांना काय झालं, रुरल एरियाचं आता कारण झालंय. तू
नाही सर, माझ्या गावात खरंच नेटवर्क इश्यू आहे सर, खूप मोठा इश्यू आहे. मला नाही का त्याच्यात जावं लागतं त्याच्यासाठी, लेक्चरसाठी.
आपलं लेक्चर 4 ला असतं, तर 4 ला आपल्याला प्लॅनिंग झालं पाहिजे ना बाळा.
हो सर, सॉरी.
हां, तू 4:30 ला 4च्या लेक्चरला 4:20 4:25 ला येशील, परत कनेक्टिव्हिटीचं कारण होईल, तू अर्धा ऐकशील, अर्धा ऐकणार नाही.
नाही सर, मी 4 वाजेपासून ट्राय करतो, पण ते ओपन म्हणजे एकदम साईट ओपनच नव्हते सर. कनेक्ट एरर दाखवतो सर सगळं.
बर.
हो सर.
See, one thing I like to tell very clearly, sort of a philosophical point है, religious है. It's easy to cheat others. मतलब अगर कोई कोशिश कर रहा है कि नहीं मेरा ये कारण से, वो कारण से, ऐसा वैसा, but it is very difficult, or it is rather impossible to cheat your own self. तो क्या है कि हो सकता है somebody may be happy, somebody become happy कि चलो हम लोग कितना अच्छा झूठ बोल रहे हैं, लेट ज्वाइन कर रहे हो. When some full class will be there, you just remind me, I'll tell you very good joke which I heard and I try to share many years. Maybe I might have shared you last year, but I think even if I shared it, I'll like to repeat it once, because that will clear, and it will definitely show the wisdom of the people who are अराउंड यू. उनकी क्या विजडम है ये मालूम पड़ती है उससे, उनकी क्या मेंटालिटी है, उनकी सोच कहाँ तक है. वी अंडरस्टैंड विद दिस. So anyway, I was discussing about the matter, that is how we are going for bioassays, why bioassays are conducted. Bioassays are conducted for the estimation of the activity and comparing it with standards, if any new substance is there, any new test substance is there, and for that various ways were made, various methods were made, and the most basic or most better method was there, that is it requires the dose response curve, that is with whatsoever standard drug you are having, you are making a dose response curve. So you will get around few points in that, and after these few points you are adding the dose of this unknown substance, and then you will extrapolate it to the dose, because response you have got when you are adding, the volume of all doses is same, so that is a common factor. Suppose it is 10 ml, then 10 ml, only concentration in one it was 10 microgram, in other it was 20 microgram, in third it was 40 microgram, and now as I told you earlier, 2, 4, 6, 8, suppose you got the response and you get the contraction at 5, then you put it at 5 and bring it down, you will get the concentration of the solution, that is what is the concentration of it. If there is no effect, that means there is no active drug is there. Very simple, either there is any action or no action. If action is there, how much is the action, and that much action is given by standard at what dose. So this is very that way simple, but for that there are various ways, various principles are there. I told you to read one book, if you remember. I don't know whether you note all the things or not, but I told you that there was very good one book, that is FSK Barar. Those who wish, they can go through various bioassay and principle of bioassay. What are various principles of bioassay, what are various ways of bioassays, and these are given in practical books also. Experimental pharmacology books also, these are mentioned. So these all bioassays are very important, because these bioassays are performed, and for that the basics are asked. As I told you, whenever we are going for any kind of tissue experiment, basic mechanism is very same. Tissue experiments are, example I told you, any smooth muscle, skeletal muscle, or any cardiac muscle, whatsoever it is there, simply we take the benefit, or we take the use of the contracting ability of that particular tissue, that is either smooth muscle is there, it is getting contracted. If it is skeletal muscle, it gets contracted. If it is cardiac muscle, it gets contracted with certain things. Example of this which can cause contractions are, this can be the electric current, it can be certain agonist. We know at most of the place it is acetylcholine. Some of the tissues are there where receptors are there for maybe histamine or other such receptors are there, but they all, the basic activity is same, that they causes increase in the contraction, and this contraction we measure. And very simple mechanism is there, that the tissue is tied. We have seen earlier about PSS, that is physiological salt solution. We have seen what is the importance of physiological salt solution, and not only physiological salt solution, but also various components of this physiological salt solution. So we suspend the tissue into physiological salt solution. One end is tied to a fixed portion, that is it won't move, and the another end is tied to a thread, and this thread will be tied to a lever. Lever means a sort of pointer, and whenever the muscle will be contracted, this pointer will be deflected. And how much is it deflected? It is 2 mm, 4 mm, 6 mm, whatsoever it may be, depending on the concentration, depending on the number of receptors present, depending on the ability of that tissue. On that basis there will be contractions, and these contractions we are recording. That gives us the knowledge of physiology, that this is the agonist which causes contraction. So whenever we add this, it causes contraction. As soon as we start adding antagonist, again we can have bioassay of this. Bioassay of antagonist were also carried out. I told you one concept about it, that is what was called as a PA2 value. So these are two concepts, Pa2 value and PD2 values. Pa2 value compares the actions of antagonist, PD2 compares the action of agonist. So and Pa2 or PD2s are the almost a constant, just like boiling point you have for a chemical, or you have some physical property which are very common for that, boiling point, melting point, whatsoever, or solubility like things. So similarly, it becomes a constant for that. It is it comes almost constant for given tissue. If some drug is acting on this tissue, it is constant. So I was expecting that you read it, you go through that, what is a Pa2 value, what is PD2 value, how it is calculated, what is significance of it, and these are the experiments, how we will perform it. Actually, I remember long back when I was teaching a different subject, I always tried in a different way. My way was different, that I was asking students to read the theory first and design the practical on the basis of theory. Suppose our goal is fixed, that is what we have to do is, we have to measure we have to apply the tissue, we have to measure the deflections, then what we will be doing. Then for that, if we have to plot the graph, then what are the way observation table we want to have. Okay, I was not giving anything, I was never giving procedure. I was just asking student, if we need this, suppose this is the equation we have seen. So for this equation, what information we need? Okay. Now wherever they had a difficulty, that I was trying to help, but they could reach to a procedure, and then they were remembering it for a longer time than mugging it up, because they were deciding the procedure. And that gives idea that how we decide procedure for any kind of experiment or for any kind of projects, how basically we formulate the procedure, because we know that this is what our goal is, what we wanted to do, what we want to make, and on that basis what we want, what way we should go for. So this procedure is nothing but it is the path we are finalizing towards our goal. So it can be anywhere when you are going for your projects or any kind of research activity. You finalize where you want to reach on the basis of your prior knowledge. Again, your theoretical knowledge helps into it. Then you formulate that what people have done, what are the available resources, and on that basis how you are proceeding on this road. So this way, if you can do it, it will help you to understand, to formulate the procedure, and this procedure will be you will be able to remember easily, you will able to recall easily, you will able to even make the observations table, how observation tables can be made, how it is converted into graph, how it is converted into various calculation, that will be easy. So I'll suggest you, again you read this, you go through this. Then the next one, so far what we have seen is, because other things were theoretical one. Example, I told about animals, everything is there theoretically. I told you examples that in what conditions rabbits are not used, example atropinase enzyme, etc. In what condition mice are preferred, almost all toxicological studies, where rats are preferred next to mice, any research whenever going from next to this one mice to rat, then in most of the studies rats are preferred, and particularly they are more popular in behavioral studies or central nervous system drug studies. And then slowly we go for other animals. I told you that if it is totally new drug, then you have to go up to dogs or monkeys, because more than one type of species is checked whether the effects are there or adverse effects are not there. And this all we have discussed during toxicological studies also, where we have made what is acute toxicity, chronic subacute toxicity, and what things we have to do, what kind of animals basically we can use. So once we have all these details, then this after in vitro there are a variety of in vivo experiments we have got. I told you the difference, what is in vitro, what is in vivo, what is ex vivo, and other which are there, example molecular level and cellular level, molecular level, receptor level, etc. So these are different levels. We are not studying anything related to cellular level here or molecular level, because but they are available nowadays. Techniques are available where you can have. For that, a very good chapter was incorporated in experimental pharmacology book by Dr. S.K. Kulkarni, that was related to the latest techniques, and one of the example of it is a high throughput screening, HTS very popularly called as. So those again interested, I'll suggest you to read this, what is HTS or what is high throughput screening and how it is performed. Only those who are interested, once you ask, I'll provide more details about it. After your reading, where you said that you could not understand, then we'll go for more detailed discussion. As I told you, I'll try to keep audios on, means those who want to speak can unmute and they can have the discussion. Only thing is, it is very annoying that I keep on calling people and people do not respond because they are not there. They have just kept their mobile on and they are wandering somewhere else, and even no response to chats, no response to audio calls or voice calls. This is disgusting one. That means that this batch is most insincere batch, or they are cheaters rather. So see that this is not happening, because it doesn't make big sense to me. I have already qualified my B Pharma, I have qualified my all qualifications and I am well placed. So it doesn't make big difference whether that if you are not listening, but definitely it can make big difference, because questions are being asked what I have taught to you. Either I'll ask or somebody else will ask. So see that you are not cheating yourself, because the classes are not for your attendances. Though I am recording all the attendance, I never made that impact that and even I was trying to take in people late, but I am seeing that this has become normal practice, routine practice of joining almost 20 minutes late and leaving intermittently. So this is really very, very disgusting one. This is really very pathetic one. Anyway, it's your call, it's your choice, and it is your actually mentality, I'll say, what you do. The practicals, as I told you, actual skill will required in setting up of the assembly. So for different experiments we need different kind of assemblies. For that again, my expectation was, if you have read it, so far I have not received any message that sir, we have gone through all the videos, we have got this difficulty, or we will discuss one or this video. Because we have seen all this video, we think this is a better one and we'll discuss this. Because again, I don't know whether people have not seen, students have not seen it, or seen it as a just a movie or some serial episode, entertainment, found something, yes, kuch to bhi dikh raha hai, and even many may not be even understanding that they have any difficulty in that. Okay, dekha maine, like that. So I am expecting it, see it, view it critically, and let me know if you have any difficulty or any doubts about it. What is this? How this has done? What it is? Okay. There are many things I feel that you should be asking if you minutely observe it, and particularly if you do it after reading book, then you will definitely find it very interesting. But those who are going it just as a ritual, ठीक है सर का काम है, सर ने लिंक भेज दिया एंड मेरा काम था, मैंने देख लिया, then fine, then nobody can teach you such people. The next thing in this, that is, once our in vitro is over, the knowledge is over, then we'll go for in vivo. Already I told you there are in vivo experiments. In vivo experiments means whole animals are used. Now why we need whole animals? Because we want to use whole organism. If you remember second year, first year anatomy physiology subject, that we have classified it, that is from the molecular level to the organism level, or vice versa. Organism will have several systems. In system there are many organs. Okay, there are system like GIT, urinary system, reproductive system, respiratory system, etc. So all this system will come together to have a whole body, whole organism. Then in system, each system will have their organs. In organs there shall be various tissues. In each organ there should be, in tissue there should be some cells which have got specialized function to be part of that particular organ. In cells again we have got various molecules which are making up the cells. These certain proteins which are specific for that, some specific chemicals are released, and lastly the chemical level. So this molecule to chemical, these all levels are there. So accordingly we use the appropriate one. Suppose I told you, when we think that we want to just concentrate that whether our drug can cause contraction of muscle or not, whether it can allow it or it can oppose it, example antagonist, then we use muscle. It can be any kind of muscle, again as we discussed, it can be skeletal muscle, it can be smooth muscle. In smooth muscle it can be, again there are so many muscles are there. If you will find people how many they work at, where different muscles, different types of receptors are there, and different agonist antagonist are studies. Example, in the bronchi and tracheas, we can have receptor for acetylcholine, we can have receptor for this beta 2 receptor, that is adrenergic receptor, which causes relaxation. We can have acetylcholinergic receptor, which then we have histamine like receptors. So many receptors there are. Ileum, again in some cases histamine is also there, in some case acetylcholine is definitely there. Then we can have rat ureter, this uterus are applied. In that we have got again beta agonist and beta 2 agonist and other drug. There are many other muscles, different kind of skeletal muscle, so that we can have acetylcholine and muscle relaxants. Then we have got heart, we have got aortas, that is arteries, where we have got various adrenergic and other type of angiotensin, etc. All these drugs which are causing vasoconstriction or vasodilation. So we have got variety of tissues. As I told you, basically they can be smooth muscles, skeletal muscle, or cardiac muscle. I already told you about heart as a muscle, and we put the drug into it, so it can cause increase in the contraction or decrease in the, that is force of contraction or rate of contractions. So these all things, and we have got, as I told you, levers are there. With this lever we measure this activity, and this activity is then recorded. We can differentiate between variety of drugs, what will happen, and we apply, and this is how the theories are formed. This is how from the experimental observation people go for theories, and vice versa, theories are applied for the experimentations. So when we combine this, then it reached to development of science. So these were all in vitro type, that any muscles can be there, any tissue can be there, and with that we go for the activities. As I told you, most of these are wherever we are having, these are contractile are there, which are, or of which we can take response. These are the muscles, either smooth muscle, skeletal muscle, or cardiac muscle. Then next one I was telling you, that is after this in vitro we will go for in vivo. In vivo, what is there? That is, the systems are like that we need whole animal. Example is very clear, that suppose we have to go for testing of a pain. So pain, again you might have studied in earlier classes, that is pain has got its own pathway, pain has got its own neurons, different type of neurons, and these pain neurons are carrying information to various centers. So when pain is initially different type of pains are there. Example, if it is prick there, then immediately reflex mechanisms are starting. For reflex, you know what is a reflex arc, that what happens is from the point where the pain is there, from that pain it goes to spinal cord, and immediately it comes back. It doesn't even go to CNS, and it comes back, and then that portion is withdrawn. Okay, immediately there is a contraction and the portion is kept away from that. So this simple reflex is there. That means that much what we can say tissues or organs should be available for that. Suppose I have to study the reflex mechanism, then what I need is there should be a periphery, particularly any kind of limb or extremity, so that when I touch it, then the body will have that portion will have contraction, so that it is withdrawn from that. And for this contraction, that type of activity is there. For that, we should know that the sensory impulse is going up to the spinal cord and it is coming back to the effector organ, and effector organ is causing withdrawal. So for that, and this component should be completed, which cannot be possible, or which is very difficult to make it in in vitro scenario. So then you need in vivo in that case, or where you want to see various kind of emotions, example fear, then desperations, etc., or learning, then there you need whole animal. Or as I was telling you, pain, it is reaching to brain, and what will happen to pain perception. So for that again you need that the pathway up to, that is neuronal pathway up to brain should be working is one thing, and every cells are live. Suppose the animal is unconscious, again you will not able to measure any kind of pain sensations. So for that in vivo, all these such kind of experiments or studies where you need complete animal, you need whole animal, then this has to be done, this has to be conducted on the whole animals in vivo. So we shall be going for this in vivo in next, assuming that you don't have any problem in any kind of in vitro, you have gone through all this in vitro well, you have understood this in vitro, you have understood everything before that, you have understood various anesthetics, various techniques of euthanasia. Okay, you have read it. It is expected that whatsoever I have suggested, and there are no difficulties, that means you have read it thoroughly, and you are definitely able to answer these questions when it will be asked during practical examination. So today this much is okay. Go through this. Wherever you have difficulties, as I told you, it looks very odd for me, or sometimes I feel it very bad that student having age somewhere around 21 years, having maturity, where even government allows them to, because 18 is the year after 12 is there. So in first year 19, second year 20, and third year 21. Yes. So around 21 year where they are understood as a mature person, and I expect that maturity definitely they must be having, instead of self-cheating, that if they are reading, they are not understanding, they should be asking. So if you are asking, we will have sessions on that. Otherwise it is clear that I have taught you, you have understood it, and you are well prepared for answering all the questions related to this practical. As I told you, we shall be having the practical examinations on all the theoretical aspects that will involve various animals, various calculations which are based for that, various types of biases, and various settings or instruments, what are their functions, how they should be arranged, and all these details. So I hope you are clear about it. If you have any difficulty, you can ask me. We can have sessions on that here only. If you do not have any difficulties, we shall go further next, that is in vivo next time. So take care and be safe.